Hello, it's me, Dr. Cheryl, and I'm super excited to announce a new product coming your way next month, which is a free, did I mention, free mini course. You're going to get 4 videos, 1 per day for 4 days, each of them teaching one of the 3 keys to great relationship. You're going to get a little workbook with 1 short exercise to do every day, and it's going to help jumpstart you and your partner in your knowledge of what's working and not working in your relationship. Super excited. Never done anything like this before. Free mini course coming your way next month. If you want to be the first to get the invite to register for it, absolutely free. Make sure you're on the wait list, and then you'll get the invitation next month, and you can jump right in and start learning how to improve your relationship right now. Can hardly wait. I can hardly wait.
Breaking news. Is long-term love dead? Divorce, affairs, boredom, and no passion. Couples are losing hope.
My husband never romances me anymore. I'm so lonely.
We used to have a great sex life. Now she always says she's too tired.
Experts state 30 to 40% of couples never make love. Only 9% say they are still excited about their partner, and 90% say they have ugly arguments.
I want to fix us, but I don't know how.
I lay in bed at night thinking, is this it?
This just in. Dr. Cheryl Fraser says passion can last a lifetime. It just needs a little help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cheryl, and it's true that it sure looks like long-term love is dead, but I'm here in this special podcast series to help you bring your dying relationship back to life. Let's get going right now. When you do something exciting and adventurous with your partner, you find them more attractive. Oh my goodness, long-term love may be in trouble, but we can do what it takes to create the spark we used to have. Hello, welcome to Sex, Love, and Elephants. It's so good to be back with you. I just returned from a crazy, amazing, once-in-a-lifetime, unbelievably privileged adventure with my own sweetheart. We've been together, I think, going on 13 years now, married 6 or 7. And I just returned with my sweetheart, our best friend, and her 2 adult kids from a 6-week tour of the southern countries of Africa. We were in South Africa. We were in Botswana. We were in Zimbabwe. And then we went camping in Namibia. And it was extraordinary. Today's theme is building on this incredible gifted experience that we just had, because guess what happens when you go do something exciting or new or fun or different or novel with your sweetheart? There's some terrific research that shows when we do something unusual, out of the box, novel, something exciting or adventuresome. I'll explain a bit more in a minute what that looks like. It does not have to be a trip to Namibia, although I very much hope you all get to do that if it's on your bucket list. When we do something new and exciting, the environment created around us of novelty, of interest, of, well, new, helps us feel more interested in and attracted toward our partner. Now, let me tell you about a story. This goes way back. I think this study was done in around the 80s by Dr. Don Dutton at the University of British Columbia. Outside Vancouver, Canada, there is, at the time, I think it was the highest or longest suspension bridge in the world. That's probably been surpassed by now, but it's a big-ass suspension bridge. You know what that is, right? It's a bridge that goes from one side of a canyon to the other, and it is unsupported. So it wibbles and wobbles. It's exciting and kind of scary. We went on one actually in South Africa when we were there. So he wanted to do a study to check whether being in a state of heightened arousal, I don't mean sexual arousal here, I mean excited arousal, like your sympathetic nervous system has something to say. It's excited, it's tuned in, maybe it's a little nervous, maybe it's a little anxious, it's in a heightened state. Why is that important? Well, because it does certain things to our biology and our neurochemistry and our emotional state. We have a higher heart rate, we have higher blood pressure, it can focus our attention in, it can help us feel kind of sparkly and tuned in or turned on, or think of going to a sporting event or a rock concert or a jazz concert, no judgment, something that you find exciting or maybe sensorially overwhelming in a positive way. It lights your senses up. You feel great. You get a flush. You get a rush. This is why we spend all this money to go to sporting events or high-priced rock concerts. I'm seeing The Who's third, can I say third, final tour. in September. Oh my goodness, I'm a fan of that band, even though they are so old and they didn't live up to the song lyric, "Hope I die before I get old," which is good. I digress, but I don't. Why am I spending a bunch of money to go see my favorite band for the 11th or 12th time in a month or two? It's because the experience of being in that exciting, stimulating, sensorially alive environment, it makes me feel fantastic. The emotions flow, especially when you hear songs you love and so on. How can this help your flagging relationship? Well, back to Dr. Don Dutton's study. It's the famous bridge attraction study. Might not be famous to you if you didn't study psychology. That's okay. I love you anyway. Here's what he did. This is way before cell phones and all the bells and whistles. This is kind of an old school experiment. And what he did was he had a female research assistant interview male people, presumed heterosexual male people, presumed heterosexual research assistant. And she interviewed them about a really boring topic. I can't remember what it is, but something like, we're doing research on the water flow of the river, something that was not an intrinsically interesting topic to most regular people. And this female research assistant would approach various male unsuspecting study participants. She would approach them either in the parking lot when the guy had just driven up to the Capilano Suspension Bridge parking lot, got out of his car. Presumably he was in a neutral state of some kind, meaning he hadn't just done something exciting and scary, i.e. walk over the bridge. So she would approach him. She'd ask him a few kind of benign questions about this fake scientific study. And at the end of it, she'd say, thanks so much for your questions. It really helps us to hear your answers. If you ever want to learn more about the study or ask any questions after we've finished up today, here's the phone number in the lab where I work. You can call me at any point between 9 and 5, whatever. Now, that was the control group. The experimental group was the exact same set of steps, except the female research assistant approached the guy after he had walked across the admittedly pretty scary, pretty exciting, definitely heightened arousal, heightened sympathetic nervous system bridge. Same thing. She'd ask him a few boring questions. She'd then say, if you ever want to hear more about the study, here's the phone number at the lab. You can reach me there. What Dr. Dutton found was that the men who were in a heightened adrenaline state, a heightened excited state, kind of lit up by going over this scary, exciting bridge situation, were highly more likely to phone the female research assistant. And we all know it's not because they were interested in the boring fake research study, it's because they were attracted to her. They were interested in her enough to want to follow that up. What's the moral of the story? The study has some flaws. Don't worry about those if you're a scientist. I'm with you there. But the moral of the story was that when these gentlemen were in an aroused, excited, stimulated, having a great day, done something exciting, feeling kind of great, feeling more alive state, they found the female research assistant more attractive and they were more likely to reach out to her. This is just one little experiment, but there's a lot of other research, clinical observation, etc., that indicates when we get out of our rut and do something more interesting or novel with our sweetheart, more adventurous, we tend to feel more connected to them. We tend to find them more attractive. It may bring us to the sort of thrill feelings, the sort of excitement feelings, the sort of in-love feelings that we had earlier in our relationship. So today, we're going to take yet another step to help break this dreadful, deadlock around our hearts that long-term love is dead. Look, I keep it real here on Sex, Love, and Elephants and in all the work I do in my programs, in my courses, and more. The truth is long-term love is a hard gig. Novelty is the greatest drug in the world. When we're falling in love, we're flushed with the biochemistry of falling in love. It changes our neurohormones. It changes our biochemistry in our brain, serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin. We are high. We are actually madly in love. And everything is new. It's new. It's fresh. It's novel. It's exciting. It's unexpected. We're curious. To quote Walt Whitman, "You are vast. You contain multitudes. I cannot wait to learn more about the depth and breadth of who you are." Remember that feeling? Remember how fantastic it felt to fall in love? Remember how you couldn't wait to talk to them, to kiss them, to touch them, how you planned exciting things to do, how you were kind of obsessed with them. Well, guess what, folks? The neurochemistry, the way the brain works when we're falling in love, mimics the neurochemistry and the light up in MRIs of obsessive compulsive disorder. So when we're falling in love, we really are in an altered state of excitement and focus. That's why it was easy. Let me repeat that, my loves. That's why it was so easy when it was new. We had boundless curiosity. There was so much more to learn, so much unexplored aspects of this person's mind, heart, history, body, how they kissed, how they smelled, what they were like when they woke up in the morning, and so much more. In longer term love, and by that I simply mean being together for more than 1 or 2 years. I don't necessarily mean 10, 20, 30, 40 years, although many of us are in that category, blessings on us. What we've lost, and it's not our fault, and it's impossible to maintain it, is the excitement of things being new. What do you think the number one cause of sexual or emotional affairs are? Of betrayal of trust bonds, of betrayal of monogamy commitments, if that's the commitment you've made. It is the desire to feel new. The majority of couples I worked with post-affair, that's men and women, gay and straight, trans, etc., that have sat on the couch over here and sobbed and said, Cheryl, I'm the last person in the world who ever would have had an affair. It's not my morals. It's not my ethics. I was super contemptuous of a friend of mine who had a quick affair a couple of years ago. I cut them off. How did this happen to me? And when we explore it, almost always it comes down to someone found me interesting. Someone responded to me, asked me questions, cared about my day, thought I was attractive, was thrilled that I was also into golfing or ultimate frisbee or horse riding or pottery or, I don't know, playing video games. And we shared some things. Basically, this is bad news, but I'm going to share it. The number one cause for us to become interested in someone other than our chosen partner is that that new person is, as I just said, new. The novelty of discovery and of being seen through fresh eyes, being seen by a new person as attractive, as interesting, when your own partner might treat you like a piece of furniture, not because they don't love you, not because they're a bad partner, but because almost all of us fall into this dreadful trap of complacency in our relationship, what I call marriage incorporated, or if you're not married, I couldn't give a hoot, but if you're in a committed, chosen relationship, relationship incorporated. What is that, my darlings? Let me remind you. Relationship incorporated is where we're running the business of us, kind of like a business. That's not a bad thing because the mortgage needs to get paid. The tent needs to be dried out and put away after we go camping. The pets need to get to the vet for their checkups. The kids need to get to school or practice or dance class or all their activities on time. We need to remember to pick them up. We need to make sure we're eating food that is maybe somewhat healthy and maybe even sneaking in some green food into our children's diets and so much more, of course. When we move into a committed family and life-building phase of our relationship, we get caught a lot in relationship incorporated. It needs to happen. Those things need to happen. But what so many of you are terrible at, and I know this because I've worked with tens of thousands of you, and I'm in a relationship too, and although we're only 11 years in, we can get lazy and complacent as well. What so many of us are terrible at is keeping the passion alive, keeping the spark alive, investing time, energy, and focus to create novelty with someone who is very much, it seems, not new to us at all. Why did I say it seems? Because the person you woke up to this morning is not boring. If you're bored with them, it's because you've become used to them. You've heard some of their stories before. You kind of know your routines. If you're bored with your mate, it's because your mind is being bored. Your mate is not boring. And I will tell you how come I know this without a shadow of a doubt. Because a new person who meets your partner today at work or at the dog park or when they're picking up your kids from their ball game or at the grocery store, a new person who met your partner today would find them interesting. And that can be the seeds of an interest flaring, of your partner feeling appreciated in a way they haven't felt that much lately, no matter how much they love you, no matter how much they love your family, no matter how much they are committed to the marriage incorporated joy of your family and your life together. Are you both making some effort to keep the spark alive? In terms of my model of the passion triangle, I teach couples the 3 keys to great relationship. One is intimacy, which is communication, conflict resolution, and so much more. One of them is sensuality, your entire erotic life, including holding hands and cuddling, what to do if you're not having sex at all. And the third one is what I call thrill, and that's what we're focusing on today. Thrill is creating novelty and adventure. And oh my goodness, let me tell you, in about 2 weeks, you're going to all get an invitation to my brand new free Passion Triangle Starter Course. I've never created a free course before. I offer a lot of free material here on the podcast, in my weekly Love Bites. If you don't get those videos or tips once a week, you will want to sign up for them below at my website, drcherylfraser.com. And I sometimes teach free Q&A classes and more. But my program, which I'll be teaching this fall, 2025, kicking off mid-October, is the 3-month Immersion Become Passion program. It is a deep dive. You get to talk to me every other week. I answer your questions. I do live coaching. You get a whole curriculum. It's amazing. Make sure you're on the wait list so you can hear more about it and be invited to the free classes I give leading up to it. But I've never offered a free course. And I'm just putting the finishing touches on it this week. You're going to be invited to join and watch my free 5-video series called Relationship Reboot, the Passion Starter Course. So keep that in mind. You're hearing a little bit today about thrill. You'll hear more about it in the free course. And I hope a small number of you, I know a small number of you, an elite number of you, the special 100, will choose to join me this fall and spend 3 months deeply renovating your relationship. Okay, back to adventure. Whether it's walking across a suspension bridge, whether it's having the incredible experiences my hubby and I had in Africa, for example. He surprised me with a riverboat dinner cruise on the Zambezi River because we had missed my birthday. I was in a meditation retreat. We went on a horse ride where we saw giraffe, zebra, baboons, and kudu, a type of antelope, from horseback. And that was especially exciting for my sweetheart, who at the age of 59 has never been on a horse before. I grew up with horses. I was a horse kid. I had horses till I was 18 years old. He'd never been on a horse. Talk about an adventure date. Oh my goodness. We went walking, hiking up the sand dunes in Namibian desert, the oldest desert in the world. We had so many adventures for 6 weeks. And it sparked our connection. It sparked our appreciation for each other because all of those beautiful experiences, we were on safari, we watched a pride of lions play for 3 hours, we saw a leopard kill a small antelope and snack on its brekkie, we saw a hippo way up too close and personal. We actually had a bit of a dangerous encounter with a hippo, survived to tell the tale. Talk about adventure. Every day new. Every day new information, new experiences together, being exposed to things we could only dream of until now. And to have had those experiences solo would have been amazing, but it would have not felt the same as to share those experiences with someone you love. To be able, now that we're back on Vancouver Island, to say, do you remember that hippo? What about when we were on the dunes of Africa only 10 days ago? It feels so far away. When we do something interesting, fun, or new with our partner, it can enhance and improve our connection, our interest in each other, and even our sexual attraction to our mate. The wonderful and astounding clinician and leader and teacher in the area of sexuality, desire, and relationships, Esther Perel, a friend and colleague of mine, in one of her books says, married sex is scheduled sex. Familiarity is the opposite of desire, which is exactly what I'm teaching today. And when you watch your partner in their zone of genius, you can find them more attractive. So for example, let's say your spouse is a lawyer, criminal lawyer who argues in the courtroom, just like on TV. If you were to go sit in the back and watch your spouse do her thing, swaying that jury and fighting for the right of justice, you would find her more attractive. If your spouse is a PE teacher and a math teacher at a local middle school, if you were to go watch them at practice, teaching rugby or hockey or soccer or baseball or whatever, and see them in their zone of genius, their passion, watch them doing what they're good at, you would find them more attractive. If you sat in the back of the math class and you saw them making math less confusing and more approachable and maybe even kind of fun to the students, you would find them more attractive. So all of this episode today is about utilizing this knowledge that when we do something new or adventurous or fun or different. It can enhance our relationship and increase the thrill. The what? The thrill. Remember, that's one of the three sides of the three keys to passion, my model. It's what my big course is all about. It's what my starter course that I'll be offering for free for a few months only starting soon is about. We need to work on thrill. Or even if we love our partner, even if we have no intention of straying and we don't stray, even if our life is good, our relationship with our beloved is kind of flat. That's that Marriage Incorporated or Relationship Incorporated feeling where you're my best friend, I enjoy you, maybe we communicate quite well, maybe we're like awesome parents together and more, but the specialness, the spark, the fun, the delight, the sexy, the romance is missing. We need to work on thrill. So here is your homework. We can start small and we can go big. Starting small would be, I want you to plan a date this week that's unusual for the two of you. It does not have to be epic. It could be as simple as you go out to a restaurant you've never tried before. Or you go for a walk in part of your city or town, or maybe a trail around where you live that you've never walked on before. Or you even make a meal at home that's a type of food you haven't made before, and you put out candles. Plan a date that is novel in that it puts you in an environment, a circumstance, or a choice that you haven't done before. If you want to up the ante a little, and I hope you will, go do something a little more adventuresome. I have bowled twice in my life as an adult. We used to bowl when we were kids with our family. And it was really fun each time. The last time was more than 10 years ago. Going out bowling for an evening with my sweetie would be a hell of a lot of fun. Last summer in Whistler, British Columbia, we had a gathering of the couples in my long-term program who work with me, and we all went axe throwing. And none of us had done it before except for one person. It was so fun. We did a whole Canada versus US contest and men versus women contest and all sorts of things. It was a blast. And as I watched my hubby laugh his ass off, throw the axes, sometimes well and sometimes where they didn't work at all, mine were worse, I just looked at him and thought, he is so adorable. I love him so much. Or you could go try a dance class. Most communities have a local swing dance club or a salsa club. You could go to a concert, to a live event of some kind, and then let's up the ante. What about planning for sometime this month or maybe this year, if it's a big plan, an adventuresome weekend away? An adventure trip of some kind, whatever that means to you. Maybe that's to go to Paris to climb up the Eiffel Tower. I'm not sure you can do that, but maybe it has stairs. I don't know. Maybe like us, it's to go to Africa. Maybe it's to go to New York City and see your first Broadway show. Maybe it's to go camping when camping has not really been your thing and it's pretty unfamiliar. Maybe it's just to go for a romantic night in a hotel and pretend like you never met each other and then meet in the bar. But I want you to take this very seriously. I want you to plan and execute some sort of an adventure date, and let's make this a little more interesting. Let's run a contest, and I'll run this till the end of July. If you go on an adventure date and you email us at hello@drcherylfraser.com and you send us a picture or two or three of you on your adventure date and describe the adventure date to you, I'm going to pick one lucky winner and we're going to gift you with a prize. So there you go. Come on, let's get your competitiveness going. It doesn't have to cost any money. It doesn't have to be going to Africa to look at lions. It can be right in your own backyard. Get creative. How can you bring more adventure and novelty into your relationship as it is right now? So here we are. I have a lot of great things planned for us in the next couple of months leading up to the kickoff on October 1st. We will open the doors to my Become Passion 3-month immersion program. I love so much that once a year I get to work with couples for 3 months. I get to know you. I read your stories. You send me a detailed history and questionnaire. I get to answer your questions and take you through the passion triangle in ways that transform relationships. I'm not saying that as just woo-woo. You can click below and listen to some of the testimonials of couples who've worked with me in the past. But super stay tuned, because for the first and only time ever, I've got a free mini course I'll be releasing in the next couple of weeks. You'll hear about it here. There'll be a link. I can't wait to get your feedback. But for now, this brings us to this episode's Love Bite. Your partner's not boring. You may be living a boring life together. Novelty can be created. Make the effort, be adventurous, and fall in love all over again with the one you're already with. I will see you next episode. Can't wait. Until then, I still remain Dr. Cheryl Fraser.